As you can tell, I just got out of the shower, so just try to ignore that. My name is Faith, and this video is just going to be answering all of the questions that I've gotten about Disney, about the Disney College Program, about my experience personally. I had posted an Instagram poll on my Instagram story, so these are a lot of questions from that, and questions compiled just from like all across the comments through TikTok, just a lot of really commonly asked questions. So the first question is, are the Disney College Program and like the International College Program participants cliquey? This is the only time I've ever been asked this question, but it's a really good question. I've had a lot of questions about how difficult it is to make friends when you're there, so this kind of like goes along with that. In my experience, no, it is not very cliquey. I found that it was really easy to make friends because everybody is there for a reason. We all want to work for the Disney company. The recruiters pick out like specific people. You have to be a special type of person to work for Disney. Everyone, for the most part, is very friendly and it's super easy to make friends. Everyone loves to talk to each other. The first things you ask when you meet somebody in the college program is, oh, what's your role and location? And what complex do you live in? And where are you from? You end up learning a lot about people. I think it's easy to make friends. The next question was, how many times are you allowed to do the DCP? You can do it as many times as you get accepted. There is no limit. A lot of people were wondering when applications usually come out. So both times I applied, it was for a spring term and the applications came out at the end of August. I've never paid super close attention to the exact date that the fall applications come out because I was on a program both times that they came out. But it's usually like the end of January, early February time. A really common question was, can you ride rides while on the clock? And no, you cannot. So the answer is usually no, unless like a coordinator or leader is asking you to, or you're like testing a ride or something. Before Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction was open to guests, I was able to ride it twice. Once was on the clock, once was not. When I rode it on the clock, I had picked up a shift at Hollywood Studios, and when I got there for my shift, the leaders were just like, hey, do you guys want to go ride this new ride? And I was like, heck yeah. I hadn't even gotten to ride it yet, so my first time riding it was on the clock, so I'm always gonna remember anytime I ride that attraction, I'm gonna be like, yep, the first time I rode this, I was working at Hollywood Studios. I was at Animal Kingdom as a guest one time when I saw 2 cast members from Expedition Everest riding that attraction, like with guests. They were in the front row. So I don't know what that was about. Maybe it was their last day or something. They were riding in costume. Maybe they were training, who knows? Overall, you can only ride attractions while working if a coordinator or leader asks you to. You don't get to just like choose, hey, I'm gonna go ride this ride. A lot of people were wondering if you need to major in anything specific to do the Disney College Program, and no, you do not. Yes, there are a lot of people whose majors do align with the program, but there are also a lot of others who do not align with the program. There are people who are in like marketing, event planning, management, hospitality, like stuff like that. So yes, that does help them in the long run, like for working for Disney, but like my major is sign language interpretation, and that has nothing to do with the role that I had at Disney. Yeah, I was able to use sign language at Disney, but it was not like part of the reason I got the job. You still have the same chance of getting accepted regardless of your major. A lot of people were asking if Disney offers housing, and yes, they do. Eventually, after being accepted, you'll receive an email about how to fill out all of your housing information, where you can either opt into or out of company-sponsored housing. Both my programs, there were only 4 complexes. It was Vista Way, Chatham Square, Patterson Court, and the Commons. I don't know why I blanked on that. They would have had participants start living in this new complex, Flamingo Crossing, around May. I had applied to live in there because I was extending from May to the end of July, but sadly we all got sent home, so I didn't get to. But yeah, Flamingo Crossing is like ready to go. They're ready to put people in. Another question I was asked that I guess kind of like goes along with this, talking about housing and stuff, is what complex were you in and would you have done anything differently? My first program, I was in Vista Way. I found nothing wrong with it until my second program when I was in Chatham. I was like, dang, Chatham's nicer than Vista. I had never lived in an apartment or out of my own house before. It was my first time living independently. So to me, it was great. There was nothing wrong with Vista, but the other ones are nicer, I would say. But Vista is cheaper. It was the first one that was built, so. When you're filling out your housing information, you will be asked to either rank all of the options, like what you'd prefer to what you'd least prefer, or you can choose, I think it literally says like, I'm adventurous, surprise me, or like, I'm adventurous, please choose my options for me, something like that. On my first program, my top choice was Vista Way 6-person, 3-bedroom. So there were 2 of us in each bedroom. There were 2 bathrooms. The master bedroom had a bathroom that the 2 people in that bedroom got to share, and then the other bathroom was right outside of the other 2 rooms, so 4 people had to share that one. That was interesting, to say the least. I don't even like sharing a bathroom with one person, much less 4 people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Vista. We had a renovated apartment, so we had 2 refrigerators, so there were 3 girls to each fridge, so that was nice. There's no way that we would have been able to keep all of our stuff otherwise. But on my second program, I was in a Chatham Square 3-person 1-bedroom, which meant that there were 3 people in one room. So we also had a bunk bed. I was in the bottom bunk. It wasn't really that bad, honestly. But this choice was at like the bottom of my list, and I still got it. If everybody's ranking things the same way, they can't promise everybody that they're all going to be in like their top choice. So it happens. I did get one of my last choices, but I am not complaining. I was very sad at first, but it ended up being just fine. We had more room in this 3-person apartment than we did in the 6-person apartment. The kitchen was bigger, the living room was bigger, the bedroom was bigger, the closet was bigger, the bathroom was bigger. Literally, it was just better. I thought that only having 2 roommates meant that I was gonna have less friends, but that was not true. I still had a great experience. I made friends with lots of my coworkers and my roommates. I made friends with my roommates' friends. Honestly, I enjoyed both of my experiences and I would not have changed anything. I would have been just fine living with the same people in the first program and the same people in the second program. And a lot of people are also wondering if you have to take classes on your program and how like the college aspect works of the Disney College program. Some people think that the Disney College program is its own college and that the Disney University is where we go to take classes, but that is not true. Disney University is used for like meetings and classes, a lot of trainings. Whether or not you take classes on your program is absolutely up to you and your school. Whether or not your school is offering you credit for the program may change whether or not you need to take classes. During my first program, I was getting credit and they had asked me to take at least 1 online class while I was there. So sometimes they may require you to take some online classes while you're there, but not always. In my second program, I did not take any classes, although I didn't get credit for it either, just because I chose not to. I didn't really need it. It is up to you and your school. Disney itself does not require you to. But I will say, for those of you who are going to take classes on your program, there'll be like a class registration thing that comes out at some point. You'll get it in an email maybe. In my first program, because I was taking an online class, I was able to sign up for a like independent study hall. That meant that whatever time I had selected like that day, through those like 2 hours, I was not going to work no matter what. They would not schedule me, so I would be able to do my homework for that class. There were a lot of different options. There was like different windows each day that you could choose from, and it would last through like the semester. That was very helpful. And a lot of times I ended up just being off on those days. I was off every Tuesday after that on my program, so it was nice knowing what days I was going to be off, because on my second program it was random. I was off different days each week. People also asked if you had to purchase your costumes, and no, you do not. There's a separate costuming building for each park or location, like whether you're at Disney Springs. I'm not sure about ESPN. I know Disney Springs has their own costuming building though, and then each park does as well. When you pick up in a new location, all you gotta do is just go get that costume, and on the hub, which is going to be like the site that you'll have access to once you're actually employed there and have gone through training, you'll be able to access all of the costumes. It'll show you every costume. You can look up different locations, so you'll be able to see what you need. And while you're at costuming, if you can find where that costume is, if you like kind of know what it looks like, there'll be like titles on each one, so it'll say what you need, and there'll be a picture of each item that you need as well. Another one was what college do I go to / like what year am I? And I am in my second semester of my sophomore year right now. It's crazy that I'm going to be a junior next year, and I go to a community college in Northern Illinois. I also get asked all the time if it's worth it to do the Disney College program, and I never really know what to say, because I don't want to like tell somebody that it's worth it and then they go do it and hate it, and then they blame me for saying that it was worth it and they don't agree. For me, it was worth it. I feel like it's just a really good experience, and even if you don't plan on working for the company, it looks great on your resume. It's gonna make you stand out having worked at Disney on any resume for anything. In that aspect, I do think that it is worth it. It's worth it for all the great experiences and all the great friends that you're gonna make. In my opinion, it is worth it, but I would just really weigh your options and see if it's worth it for you. I had a lot of questions about celebrities as well. People wondering like what celebrities I had seen while working, and if you're allowed to take pictures and talk to the celebrities while they're there. When there is a celebrity at Disney World, you do have to treat them just like any other guest, because they are like, they're a person, they're real. They have feelings, so don't bombard them and be like, oh my god, can I have your autograph? I'm saying that like whether you're a guest or a cast member, just don't bombard them. Just be respectful. As a cast member though, you do just have to check them out just like anything else, unless they are like asking you a specific question. If they ask to take a picture with you, like, fine. But I never actually saw any celebrities with my own 2 eyes at Disney World. I mean, I saw Sarah Hyland when I was like 14, so I saw her. She was filming something in Fantasyland. Other than that, honestly, don't get mad at me for this, but like it was either Chris Evans or Chris Pratt. I don't know the difference between either of them. One of them was at Animal Kingdom while I was working last year. And then this year, James Charles was in Magic Kingdom while I was working. I did not see him. A couple of my co-workers saw him, and there were guests coming up. They were like, oh my god, that was James Charles. And I'm like, where? I wanted to see him. Like, not even talk to him. I just wanted to see him. Then while I was working at Pirates of the Caribbean, the Kardashians came through my store because they had just gotten off the attraction, but I was in the stock room, so I just barely missed seeing them. I think those are the only celebrities that were there while I was there. There might have been more that I didn't know about, but those are the only ones I knew about. I was also asked if it's true that Disney cast members are not allowed to have any tattoos. And no, that is not true. You can have tattoos. I have 2. You were just not allowed to have any visible tattoos on the clock anytime ever. There are accommodations to cover up tattoos, whether it's makeup, sleeves, an undershirt. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do to cover them up. They do make long sleeve versions of a lot of costumes, or they have like specific undershirts at costuming that they would like you to wear. But if you are a lifeguard, you can't have any visible outside of a one-piece bathing suit. Like, that is a question that they'll ask you during your phone interview. If you get to the phone interview, it will be asked, do you have any tattoos visible outside of a one-piece bathing suit? And then you gotta describe them like in depth. I knew people that had them all down their arms and just wore long sleeves to cover them. It's definitely okay. You can do the program with tattoos as long as they're not like on your face or something, unless you can cover them with makeup very well. I do know that in food service, you're not allowed to have any makeup covering tattoos like below your forearm, like below your elbow area, because obviously you don't want to get makeup in the food. Most other locations you can, unless you're working with food. And then piercing wise, you can only have 1 piercing in your lobe right here, and you're welcome to wear like clear like plugs in other piercings. Like, I have all of these, and then I have 4 on this side. I'm not wearing one right here. And then I had a nose piercing as well, but I let that close up for the program, sadly. I'm gonna get it re-pierced. I have talked about this a couple of times, but there were also a lot of people wondering about the requirements for the Disney College program. And the requirements are that you are at least 18 years of age by the time that you get there, and that you will have completed your first semester of college by the time that you get there. You can still apply before those things as long as you will be of that age and have completed your first semester of college by the time you get there. I applied during my first semester of college, and then I got there after my first semester of college, so, you know, that's how it works. You can still apply for up to a year after you graduate. It used to be 6 months, now it's a year. Another question that I got was, can you wear jewelry while working? You used to not be able to wear necklaces, now you can wear a necklace. It just has to be like simple. It can't have any like symbols or logos or anything. You can wear, like I said, the 1 earring. It can be like either a neutral color or a color that is in your costume, and it like can't be bigger than a quarter. Can't dangle. You can have like a little hoop, but it can't like be a dangly earring. Another question was about nail polish. You can wear a neutral color nail polish. I saw people wearing nail polish that was not Disney look multiple times, and I guess no one said anything to them. But you cannot wear nail polish working with food. I do know that because I worked in food service. I also had questions about the expenses in the college program, and if it is expensive, if you have to pay for housing. Yes, you do have to pay for housing. It varies depending on which complex you're in, how many people you're living with. It could be anywhere from, I think, like $114 was the cheapest last year, and then maybe like $220 for the most expensive, like around there for Flamingo Crossing now, because Flamingo Crossing offers private bedroom, private bathroom, like a 4-person, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, which I would love to live in. I would 100% pay $200 a week to live there. By the way, the prices are weekly, so it ends up being like $500 a month, but that's how much you'd be paying to live somewhere else, I guess. Like, if you were out of housing, you'd be paying more, so. And there is a program fee at the very beginning for like all the housing events and everything, and your first week of rent, so I think that was like $400 maybe is like a down payment. Like, in the end, it does end up costing money, but you're gonna make money while you're there as well. They have raised the pay for the college program. Honestly, like, I made more money this time than I did when it was lower a year ago. It went up $2 this year. I made enough money to still have money when I came out of it. For Walt Disney World anyway. I know that Disneyland Resort has a little bit higher of expenses because it's just more expensive to live in California, and their program fee is more expensive at the beginning, but they also like accept less people, so they need more money from each person going because they have a lot less housing. There were multiple people wondering if you get to choose where you work. Ultimately, no. You're going to be told where you work when you get your offer. If you get accepted, you are going to be sent an offer letter that includes where that includes your role, not where you're going to be working, and they're going to place everybody after that. About a week before your arrival date, you'll get your location. I watched an interview one time with one of the recruiters, recruiter Christy. She said that they do love to hear where people want to be. They want to do their best to put you in a place where you're going to make the most magic, and they get to make their magic by making you happy and putting you where you want to be. So it does not hurt to tell your recruiter that there's like a specific location you love. They want to hear how happy and how motivated you are to be at Disney World. Also, if there's a location you really want to work and you don't get placed there, you could also be in a role where you could trade shifts to work there. Not always, but it is possible. I think that that's gonna be all. So honestly, if you have any other questions, I am again open to making a part 2 of this video, so go ahead and leave comments under this video and I will try to answer some of those as well. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more Disney content, and have a magical day.